Ian, welcome, man. Ian Dunlap is here. Happy to have you.
Man, honored to be here. How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
Happy to catch you. I know we've been talking about this for like 2 years.
I know it's long overdue, right?
Yeah, it's long overdue. It's long overdue, and I'm excited because I have messy questions. I'm gonna let you know that right now.
I know you do.
Yeah. So
shout out to WeWorks.
Shout out to WeWorks.
Shout out to WeWorks. Everybody in spaces.
I hate that, Dave. I hate that.
Do you?
Yeah, I hate that. I've only taken. I just don't like. All right, so for those of you who know, Ian's referencing Spaces, Twitter Spaces that Joe be on, and he coined my section of Twitter Spaces WeWorks.
What would you call your tribe then?
I don't know. I just think we creators, man.
Got you. Okay.
We creators, and I think Joe had seen the show. Joe Budden had seen the show WeWorks and probably thought we reminded him of them.
Got you. Okay. Yeah, I didn't know that. I thought it was a term you came up with.
Nah, I think it's based on the actual company WeWorks in some form or fashion.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, how's I know you were at the pod with the guys, the Joe Budden podcast. How was that?
It was really good. We was there with the founders of Prize Picks. So it was my first time meeting them. Yeah.
The Prize Picks people were there?
Yeah, they were there. They making their promotional rounds too. So it was a really good pod. I think you'll like it.
So the people from Prize Picks were on the pod?
Yeah, the founders. Yeah, because they just had sold last year for a crazy number. I think 1.8, 1.6 or something like that.
Jesus.
So, so they're making their rounds. So the pod was really good though.
That's cool.
Spirited debate.
Spirited debate. Okay. She was on the Patreon, so I'll definitely see that Friday or something. I don't know. But I'm kind of here to discuss about everything from the beginning to the end, from the end to the beginning. So obviously your biggest platform is Earn Your Leisure, right?
Yeah.
That's the channel that Market Mondays was launched on. I think it's the biggest thing in this space as far as finance. How did you end up on Earn Your Leisure?
I had a mutual friend. So I have been for years, probably, 10 years at that point, have been posting on social media. A mutual friend, Rory Kim, they came to Houston. I didn't go. She went. But she, put us in a group chat. So that was the beginning of the relationship. Then I went out before COVID, end of 2019, to do an episode on investing. Because at the time, I think only one other person had done it, maybe two, had done an episode on investing. And then, of course, COVID hits, put the episode out. And that was kind of the birth of that relationship. The episode did pretty well. And then we did a follow-up the next week around investing, and it was a live show. So that's Market Mondays is like a product of that. The live show went incredibly well, and then from there, Rashad was like, he was looking to add shows to the network, and I said, hey, I think we should do something. And from there, we made Market Mondays and made history.
What is it you decided to do? Was it like a partnership? Was it just you on the pod? Was it?
No, I only do partnerships and equity across the board. So that's always been my thing. If I'm involved in anything, I have to have a stake in it in some shape, form, or fashion.
So you have a stake in Earn Your Leisure or Market Mondays or both?
I'll let the internet do their investigative journalism. But a quiet partner in a few things, I'll say that.
Quiet partner, you sound like Ian. Yeah. All right. Or The Haven, he said are you a quiet partner like The Haven and Rockefeller? Or you?
No, shout to The Haven. And it's a good lesson too. No, but co-owner of Market Mondays, partner in InvestFest. So, but yeah, that interview with The Haven, I told you privately, but I'll tell you publicly. I think that's probably one of his best. But there are some downsides of being a quiet partner, and that interview kind of illustrates what can go wrong if you don't manage that relationship right.
Yeah, shout out to The Haven. I thought he really, really spoke up, and I saw him in a different light after leaving that interview.
Yeah.
But I'm here because I used to watch Market Mondays pretty much every week.
Did you?
Yeah.
Man, I would
say before I started speaking on Spaces, so that's why you probably don't get the vibe that I watch every week.
Gotcha.
But
in the early days?
Yeah, in the early days, like about a year, like 3 years ago, I used to watch it pretty consistently. And I can't help but notice, man, Troy and Rashad have a dynamic that seems up and down. Like, why do they seem at odds so much? Like everybody, I know this is probably what they say about Dame and Jay before they broke up. Hey, man, these guys are friends, man. They love each other. But why? What happened? They didn't always used to be like that.
I mean, I can't speak on a personal relationship, but I will say, like, brothers fight. And if you've ever, shout out to Yomi's here. That's how they just normally talk. I don't know if it's a New York thing or if it's a brotherhood thing or a combination. But a lot of times when it's shown on air, people take it as the end of the relationship is coming. And I don't think if the end of the relationship was coming, they would even show it. But if you ever heard them debate about sports or rap, that's how they normally talk every conversation. Ab is a shout to Ab. Like, we have some heated conversations around sports, investing, money, life. So if anything, I think it shows to the testament of how good the brotherhood really is between them to have those conversations online.
Yeah, I hear that. That's the typical answer about the people are brothers.
But I'm being dead. Like, I'm not bullshitting you. Like, the conversations we'll have privately if we're on tour or at Troy's house or anywhere we've been, it could be Tupac versus Big. We had a conversation the other day, which is better, Blueprint versus Reasonable Doubt. It was the same energy. I was pro Blueprint. But those conversations happen a lot. So they've been friends since they were teenagers.
I bet you Rashad was Reasonable Doubt.
Yeah, Rashad's Reasonable Doubt.
He looked like a Reasonable Doubt type of dude.
Yeah.
All right. I think Blueprint is better, but Reasonable
Me
Doubt.
too.
Yeah. Reasonable Doubt is definitely like, I don't know, just felt Illmatic-y. All right.
You like it was written more than Illmatic too?
No, I like Illmatic.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. But I have this because I made a video about it, and I think you took a shot at me on I think you did.
I just replied, my
You
brother.
was like, oh, you ain't gonna make much money off talking about us. And I was like, I don't know if it was about me, but it sounded like it was. But there was an exchange that seemed beyond regular disagreement where Rashad bypassed Troy while he was speaking and asked you for his opinion. And I gotta be honest, that would have been...
This was what, this year or this
was like past? This year. Yeah, that seems beyond brotherhood. That seems like, yo, don't play me on my own show, bro. Don't do that. But how is it for you to observe that? Because all I see is, come on, guys. Come on, guys.
I mean, but if you remember in the very beginning of the show, which is interesting how things change, in the beginning, it was Rashad and I going back and forth a lot. So that's just kind of morphed. And what stock were we discussing?
Discussing AI.
Yeah, so I think the conversation was around AI, and there definitely could be moments where people are cut off and I've cut off people, but I think a lot of the conversation around them not being friends long term is overblown and overhyped. If it was something there, I wouldn't bullshit you. I'd be like, yeah, it's tension. I can feel it, you can see it, but I think it's one of the cases of where you can just have a bad moment on camera, or come off as rude on camera. We've all done it. And I think maybe the next week it was addressed or the audience addressed it and then we talked about it. So I think, especially when you do a live show, those moments are going to be apparent because if it was pre-recorded, it would have just been cut out. But I think it does show too, in any relationship, there are ups and downs and you learn how to communicate with each other, even though you've been friends for a long period of time. But like I said, in the beginning, it was me and Rashad going back and forth about a bunch of stuff. So
why you and Rashad? What was going on then?
To be honest, we didn't know each other. So also too, when you have a new relationship, to his testament, you don't know what a person's intention is. Like they had a bunch, and I would ask them like, how do you have people come on a platform, do well, they'll sell all of these products and then not give anything back to the brand or not partner? So it was more of a trust thing. Cause we literally went from doing an interview to hanging out maybe 2 times and then starting a business and a show together. So you're working through the nuances of knowing each other, how to communicate. So I think it's just the issues of building a relationship early on. Because we built a friendship and business at the same time on the fly, like during COVID. So
yeah.
How
long do you see yourself on that show, Market Mondays?
We're in year 6 now.
Long time.
Yeah, long time. Time flies though. I don't know, the great part about the show is there's an option to do it forever. There's an option to stop at year 10. That's a great part about ownership and partnership. It's whenever we decide to. But I'm enjoying it this year. I think I've gotten some of that energy and flair back as well. So I'm not sure. I'm really just, a lot of things I do in business, I go off of like post-prayer, post-meditation and feel, and not just solely off of revenue. But as long as we're having a good time doing it, I'll continue to do it. But we're having a blast these last couple of years. It's been great.
This might get heavy, but I think we have to address it.
What happened?
I think anybody who enters any space where maybe they see great profit, or whether it be financial, they'll always be labeled as some type of scamming is going on.
Yeah.
Including Earn Your Leisure.
Okay.
Now, why do you think you guys are called scammers? Do you think that's just what happens in this field? Or do you think people are hating? Or do you think you have done a bad job of messaging to the fans?
It's a combination of factors. To be honest, I think part of it is hate, because there's a certain group who wants to take what was created and then bring it over to their business for their own personal benefit. Also, just to be very fair, in the Black and brown community, there's not a lot of trust, and understandably so. Like, if you look at the history of banks, insurance, every time that there's been a financial elevation, it's been some roadblocks thrown in there somewhere. So either, like, speaking to other Blacks, like, you may have had an insurance policy, you may not get the full value. And then there's also been people who have given advice and it has not panned out. Well, like, not to throw him under the bus or speak ill of him, but like like once the Caesar thing happened, that casted a broader shadow over everyone as well. So I think it's a combination of factors why that label, and also too, like, in those same fights that we may have had on air, the hubris, arrogance approach may rub people the wrong way. So I think it's a combination of factors, but by no stretch of the imagination have we done any of that. And on top of that, like, I can speak for me personally, like, I was doing pretty well before the show even started, so there was no incentive. Like, I got my claim to fame by giving away investing picks on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter prior to COVID. So
yeah, I mean, I think the biggest issue, the biggest mountain to climb with this question is, I don't get the sense that any of you have done anything.
no.
Yeah, it's the people that have been on the platform, and I think you hinted at that with people who go to other audiences. Is there a different vetting process now in the nuclear bomb that was Caesar Pina, and even guys like him 500, where maybe it was like Shaky or Frederick Badgie?
But says, I mean, but even with, let's take Marcus, like, I don't know what bad business people say he's done. Like the Caesar Pina thing, I totally get. Like, once again, not to throw him under the bus. And even with Frederick was my introduction, and I introduced him. But when I met him, he was working at Guggenheim, then BlackRock, and then Meta. So it wasn't. So even prior to that, we did vetting.
He really worked at Guggenheim? Because that was the critique, is that he didn't actually. This is what
I met him at the Guggenheim office.
Okay, cool.
I met him at their headquarters. Even at Meta, when he was at Meta, and like I said, I'll take accountability because I made that introduction. He was cool with the higher ups at HQ, even though he worked in the Hudson Yards office. Like, he was.
What's HQ?
Headquarters for Meta.
Okay,
so like, even the people that knew him were direct reports to Meta. So I never hear that Guggenheim made a bad hire or that Meta made a bad hire. It just always lands on us. But because I was the introduction, like I said, I'll always take accountability for that. But I also can't be held accountable for what a person does in their personal life. But like I said, when I met him at the offices of Guggenheim. I think that was in 21.
Well, I think in a capitalist society, the problem is you can essentially buy your way onto things. It's like, how do you guys know to vet people who make a ton of money? Like, it's tough to like.
Who was bought their way on?
You guys haven't. Well, I don't know if you can speak for other people, but you've never allowed anyone on the platform to buy a spot on the show.
No.
Okay.
Especially on Market Mondays, no.
Okay.
But I know for their show, no. For Keys' show, no.
Okay. Okay. Cool.
And even for Market Mondays, I don't even want a whole bunch of guests on anyway. Like, the people that I have had on, some of our favorite guests, like, were people that inspired me before I was known, like Josh Brown, Mark Cuban, Michael Batnick has been on, Mike Novogratz. Mike don't need to promote shit on our platform, because you can even argue for Josh Brown, Mark Cuban, Michael Batnick, everybody at Ritholtz, our audience may not even be their target market. So there's never been a desire to even take money. I know some shows do that, but we've never charged people to be on the show.
Okay. Do you guys take a different approach to who's on the show now? Like, do you vet? Because this happened to the Breakfast Club, right? They had Caesar on the show.
Yeah.
And that was like a big deal. And now there hasn't been many finance people on the show since.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of shown the evolution of how damaging it can be to not vet people.
For sure.
So do you guys take a different approach now after
for sure.
BC, before Caesar and after Caesar?
That's funny.
Yeah.
For sure though. I think a net worth requirement is needed. We need to see that a real business has been created. Referrals have been created. I think even this year for Market Mondays, we may have only had maybe 6 or 7 guests.
Okay.
But the referral network from them is so strong that it is almost like undeniable. And then also, these are also things you can Google in terms of what they've built and what they've created. So, but this is the other part that people don't bring up. Since that process has been tighter, there's less room for up-and-coming entrepreneurs, for sure. Like, the average entrepreneur can't go to Mero or Akademiks or Breakfast Club or Angie or any other show. So I think for an up-and-coming creator, if they can find a way to highlight some of those, that'd be great. But I think we've done a great job at InvestFest and to highlight some of those, but it's definitely less up-and-coming entrepreneurs who have space to be able to have a voice.
There was a recent guest that I'm sure you guys did not do your research on, and I was taken aback by it. Ayisha Diaz. Did you find out?
I did my research.
All right. Did you find out she was getting paid $40,000? Did you find out she made some claims on the show?
What claims did Ayisha make?
She was talking about you need to
classic episode for Blackout.
Classic, groundbreaking. But no, she was. What did she said? $40,000 per month.
That's what she said she wanted if someone was to exclusively date her and not allow her to work.
Exclusively date.
Yeah.
All right. What did you? All right. So, did you ever envision when you first started on Earn Your Leisure that you would get to the point where you have retired bottle models on the platform? Or maybe they're not retired; they might be active.
Yeah, I don't know personally. Well, shout out to Ayisha. I thought it was actually a good interview because the one part of it that it does show is how limiting certain careers can be.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of that, how if you enter certain industries, if looks are the primary thing that you are known for, it can lead to a maybe lonelier life down the line. But I know the internet was in uproar over her claims, but the thing that was not said is like, she's gotten that before. So although if you look from outside looking in, it may look a certain way, but I do think for our audience who may not have an aspiration to be a hedge fund manager or a financial advisor, it does give you the dark side of certain pursuits can be. Like, and then the following week we had Hitmaker, right? It's the tale of two people in a similar industry where you can get all the fame and lore and not end up having love, which I think is the ultimate thing that we all want at the end of the day. So I know it may have looked mixy to a certain degree, but I think the follow-up with him is to tell the two stories. And the interesting part, I think Berg said wilder shit than Ayisha did, and nobody criticized Berg for what he said.
Yeah, I think just the number, the manosphere content like gravitated towards Ayisha's comments. Very similar. It was almost akin to what Bernice Burgos said. That
for sure.
It was almost the same exact debate. Again, it was like, I made $35,000 on the small night. Yeah. They tend to have a particular number, but
the other part that isn't being said, though, a lot of men are paying that and they're hiding it. It's a lot of ball players and rappers and content guys that are sending Venmos and Cash Apps and taking care of women that they may not want to be seen with publicly, but privately they're taking care of them behind the scenes.
Yeah.
So
some of this is not something I agree with because I think anybody should be interviewed.
Not anybody.
Yeah, well, I just don't think the scope should be as limiting as some people suggest. But there was people who felt that the platform shifted too much away from its initial, kind of foundation, which is financial literacy.
In what way has it shifted?
Well, that was.
I can only speak to Market Mondays and Blackout because those are the only shows that I'm a part of and or own.
Well, I felt like in the early days of Market Mondays, or what Rashad says when he goes on the Breakfast Club, is this is a platform to provide financial literacy and education.
And it's done that.
Huh?
It's done that to this day.
But people felt like Ayisha Diaz was a
deviation from it?
Yeah.
I agree, but to a certain, like I just illustrated, we are going to lie if we say that everyone who watches the content does not then go on with the rest of the day and live another kind of life. Even in that conversation, there was a lot of people who commented on that particular interview who never commented on the Market Mondays stuff and then found Market Mondays after. And also too, that's an issue of financial literacy. Even like for the fellas that are spending that much money on a woman that is not their wife, that is a financial literacy and investing lesson. There are a lot of men who are wasting, and it doesn't just happen in her sphere. It happens a lot on Wall Street too. It happens a lot in banking as well. It happens in PE. It happens in angel investing. It's just not talked about. And to those who say those people aren't interviewed, they're there. There are other platforms that have interviewed certain, like for example, it was a multinational, international story of what Donald Trump had to pay before he ran for president the first time. So while, like, once again, it can look a certain way, I get that, but it is an investing lesson and in the financial literacy key point of money management and mismanagement, potentially.
Is there a guest you ever regretted interviewing?
I'm trying to think, Mark. No.
Okay. Yeah.
No. Well, you said you watched in the beginning. Who do you think our best guest has been in the Market Mondays history?
Best guest in Market Mondays history.
Cuban is one of my, but I'm biased.
He's not Market Mondays, but I did like when Maul was on Blackout.
That was a good episode.
Yeah. I can't really remember too many guests because they were like finance people that don't strike a name with me right now.
Okay.
And like you said, you didn't have too many guests on there. If I had to pick somebody, it was some dude from, I think he had a TV show on like MSNBC, and his advice,
African American guy,
white dude,
Josh Brown.
Yeah, he was really good.
All of his interviews have been great.
Really good, and the advice was given, like, don't sell your stocks. You're better off dying with them. And I thought that was, and the way he related to the audience, it wasn't even like, I'm a white guy here. He was like, no, I'm just me. And
he remains himself.
He don't care about trying to like do culturally reflective, or he was just like, I'm just gonna be who I am, which I thought was dope. But there's do you guys feel like you're accessible to the public? Because there's people who, like, when I told them that I was doing this interview, one of the questions they wanted me to ask was some of the memberships that like people have to pay to join, like let's say Stock Club or Red Panda, might be inaccessible to the communities that we come from.
Mm-hmm.
And what do you say to those that feel like your real true premium content is very aspirational and not truly accessible?
It's not designed to be accessible, but for the first 2 years, Stock Club, for those you remember, put yes in chat if you remember this, for the longest time, Stock Club was $297 for the year. So, and then also Market Mondays is free every week. We never put that behind a paywall. I'll still do a ton on Twitter. I think probably some of my best advice I put out on social media for free. Even the NVIDIA, like I called NVIDIA and AMD in 2016 and 2017. That was for free. So if there's a complaint about Stock Club, don't buy it and watch the show. Take the 2 hours, watch the show, go through my Instagram, go through Twitter. But when it was at an accessible price, a lot of people ruined the experience. Also, too, the first 3 years and when I did the show, I gave away 2,000 scholarships to Stock Club. Just never talked about. So the returns have been incredible. And I can argue, even the price of what it is now is still cheaper than it should be. But if we want to democratize finance and investing, watch the show and follow me on Instagram and Twitter and OnlyFans, wherever else you can find my investing content.
Yeah, I can say. I mean, my whole purpose is not to suggest anything like is into it because I do feel like a lot of like I remember when Weezy talked about the advice you gave her on her pod, and I was like, man, that seems to have really changed her life in terms of all the money she's been able to make, and I think as much success as WTF has had, I also think she's been investing well and she's been buying houses in Cali. So she's kind of doing her thing. Yeah. And that's off of advice that not always, but some of the. I got to ask about it though, man. A lot of pods have gone up belly under, man. You was the last big guest for this pod. You know who I'm talking about?
Need to know?
Yes.
Yes.
What happened? You were taking shots. They was taking shots at me. Now they complaining about the HVAC. We just had an HVAC issue.
We just had an HVAC issue.
But we still kept popping.
Right here.
Why
you been shooting at Savon, yo?
Because he shot at me, man.
But didn't you shoot first?
When
I went on the show the last time, you were shooting first.
What did I do?
I don't know.
What did I miss?
It was something about numbers or something.
I mean, I think that Mandi and Savon hold a special place in my heart.
Why do you have so much? Well, it's a lot of people. Well, I wouldn't say hate, but your content comes off as if you
hateful.
Have hate. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the truth is, you're not really hateful.
Me, the person, or my content?
The person.
Oh. I think all of these people are not above being critiqued. And as someone who gets critiqued a lot, I feel I don't get too personal. And it could be that
you've gotten personal with people before.
If they got personal with me, yes. But it never...
Okay.
Yeah.
Not to cut you off. I'll cut your wisdom, as the keys would say.
Cut your wisdom.
You haven't been personal with people. I've been on your spaces, right? And I'll still be the anons. You do attack first.
Who did I attack, man? You got to... What did I miss?
Can we blank the name out?
Okay.
You've been at Dub Head for a while.
Dub?
You've been at Dub Head. What?
I don't see
You've
that.
been at... Okay, we can... Savon, Mandi.
Mandi deserves it.
Why?
Once she called me a dick sucker, that was it. It was
over.
What
did you say to her first?
I said the studio was too expensive.
That's subjective, though.
But that's my opinion. And I do think, shout out to the guys here, I do think what they offer is very, very much expensive considering how much they edit. Like these guys here edit very well. They edit fast. They turn around the equipment.
What's the turnaround time?
These guys get it to me like by like 2 hours.
2 hours?
Yeah.
Oh, shoot me your number, yo.
Yeah. And it's like, sometimes they arrive late to the studio. I'm not talking about WTF. I'm talking about Mandi. Back at the time I used it. And not all the time. So most of the time they was fine, but there was just, it's okay for me to critique the product.
Do you ever think that it's the way? My only thing that I've had this conversation with you, I get why you do some of the hate content because it does work, and especially for the YouTube algorithm. But my only thing was, I think you're too talented to always lean on that.
Mm.
What do you say to that?
Well, no, I'm saying the quiet part out loud, man. So, but nah, I look at other platforms that I guess are adjacent to me and how they go at the podcasters. I'll never see myself as that bad. When I look at the people
who's worse,
Too Lazy to Try, Podcast Cringe.
I gotta check those
No
out.
Jumper.
Things
Guys
have not gone well for No Jumper though. And I'll have an issue, Adam.
I can make the case things have not gone well for Joe, and I'm not saying anything crazy.
In what regard?
Do I really have to say it? There's been like the coverage of the incident, the coverage of a lot of things that have occurred. I don't think I have gone as crazy as I could have. I do try to.
Oh, you mean in detail and depth?
Yeah.
Okay.
And even there's dudes making fun of people's wives on other platforms. And I never really touched that.
That's too far. So I'm the reason that Need to Know broke up. Is that what you said?
Yeah. I mean, you kind of woke some things up. I mean,
what I wake up?
I don't think you woke it up. I think they were talking about sharing accounts. They were talking about ads. They forecasted the Reggie Nacho breakup. They was talking about all types of. The Reggie at one point says, "I don't want Danny from the Stop to make a video about me if I leave." It's like, why? And then months later, she breaks
you're
up.
You're an audio bully.
Yeah. I mean, at that point, Savon called me weird, and I kept that. But I was waiting to see if they were able to keep it together, and they couldn't. And then at another time, another interesting moment in that episode was they straight up asked you, "Do you think we can quit and just focus on the pod?" And you was like, "No, I'm invest in stocks."
It's the better return on capital. I think for most podcasters and people that are in entertainment, you're much better off investing in the best companies in the world. Like in this space, there's a lot of facade about what people are making and how well they're doing. And I think that's where some of the meanness and vindictiveness comes out from certain people. Not you, because you're doing well. Like you one of the few that has a monetizable blueprint. But I think the biggest mistake I think a lot of media people are making is not investing into the platforms that they're uploading to. But I ask everyone every time, like, why the fuck are you not investing in Google if your primary focus is YouTube, and if you're a podcaster, why are you not investing in Apple? Yeah, I can have a long conversation, almost a dissertation, about how I think they may have mismanaged the acquisition, which should have been of OpenAI that went to Microsoft. But if you are a media broadcaster and you're not investing in stocks, I don't think you want to be rich. I think you just want to be famous for the wrong reasons.
Yeah, shout out to Akademiks. He said that he bought mad Spotify stock.
Mm-hmm.
And
early too.
Yeah. And I feel like Akademiks gets roasted and ridiculed. I think it's very much high school stuff. Like I saw Mero's rant about him and I thought he looked crazy to me. Mero looked
But
crazy.
who started?
Akademiks. I mean, they've always started with Akademiks first. There's times when he's minding his business and they come with the culture vulture. You started the war in Chirac, and he remembers that and circles back.
He's taking accountability for that, though, as somebody being from the Midwest.
Yeah.
He said that he's regretted that.
Yeah, and it's like, but people keep bringing that up, and it's like, I get it. You can always bring it up.
Yeah.
It's not like there's an expiration date on the disrespect people feel.
Is there any highlights from the Need to Know podcast parts that you enjoyed?
I loved when they interviewed Joe.
That was a good interview. You like Ish's episode?
I don't feel like I get too much from Ish's interviews.
Okay. Why is that?
I just think it's kind of redundant, entry-level EYL information. Like, it's not as layered as...
You would say our information is entry-level?
No, it's like what you guys say, but not as informed. Ish's version of that.
Maybe that has something... Well, maybe that has more to do with the questions or platform or receptiveness of the audience, more so than the speaker.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it could be that, but I think other moments... Elliot Wilson's interview was good.
That was good.
I just think they were a guest-based platform, but the thing that hurts about them is they had it. I think they had it at one point, and they said it on their breakup pod. Like, they had like a bunch of Patreon subscribers, and they just stopped. And it's like, damn, why'd you do that? And a lot of people were propped up by the DEI ads, right? That's what they said.
I always hated the ad model, but to each his own. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, you're doing incredibly well. Tell people how to make money in podcasting, come on.
I'm doing terrible, Ian.
That's a lie.
I spent a lot on this, man. I spent a lot. It's terrible, man. I wish I could sign to the Black Effect. I wish they would save me.
You don't need saving.
I need saving. I need a life raft. Charlamagne, call me.
You going to the Black Effect Festival?
No.
Speaking
of festivals, how come Mandi was outside at the Invest Fest? You know, she did one on the pod, complained. She said she was looking through the fence.
I mean, a venue with 17,000 people.
Mandi can't go in.
I mean, just being real, like we were just talking about this with AB. Like if you're calling one person and you have talent calling behind the scenes, you're talking to sponsors, like you may have to get there a little bit earlier. I mean, she got taken care of. I think, and then also to Mandi, I think May got that ticket for free. Shout out to Mandi. Love you dearly.
Also on the episode with Ish, she was complaining about not being, I mean, it could be COE, but content over everything, as they say.
Yeah.
Do you think she finessed Yvonne by giving him the studio?
I don't know the inner workings of I don't know the inner workings of that deal.
I just think a podcast studio in 2026 might be a bad investment unless you really...
He did it in 25, right? 24?
Yeah, but he has it now. So...
I don't know. You can make the argument if you run it successfully or strategically, there's a lot of profit in it.
How would you have handled this whole thing with the Need to Know? Like if you were the Need to Know, how would you have? Because I felt like they shouldn't have stopped and their channels, like, they should have kept going.
I mean, hindsight is always 20/20, but like I said from the very beginning, I would have just taken the majority of the revenue and put it all into the market. Because regardless of what's happening, this is the thing that I love about investing. Whether you like me or not, or how I approach things or the takes, like I don't need to be liked in order to earn. And that's the point that I really want to stress. A lot of podcasters and media personalities think they're going to take the star approach to media when you don't have the talent of Star. And people also don't know, Star's a really great fucking investor, yo. That part of his career, all the real estate and stocks that he's owned early on, going back to 08, 09, 06 probably, it allowed him certain freedoms for him to still be okay. So I would have taken the majority of the money and put it into the market, and they would have been okay. But and also to their saturation in podcasting for sure. But I think everyone just has to find their own lane. But there's nothing wrong with stopping, and all of them are doing great individually. So there's nothing wrong with stopping for sure, because you can always reimagine a show, restructure a show, and come back.
Okay. Did you get your Jay-Z tickets?
No, I did not.
Do you plan on going, or did you plan on?
I would love to. The Blueprint show I want to go to.
Oh, okay.
You got yours?
No, I'm not going.
Man, when I was...
Every podcast are going to be there, man.
No, they're not.
As Yomi said, they're going to
You got to call DeHaven and get the Emory tickets or something. That's crazy.
DeHaven's a big dude. Like, I didn't realize how big he was.
He's like 6'4", right?
Yeah, I don't think he's 6'4", but he's not like somebody you could just run up on.
No, I thought, he's not a little dude.
Yeah. His name was Headache, so I imagine. But it does seem like everybody's talking about they're gonna be there. So you don't think everybody capping like they'd always doing podcasting?
I think a few people will be there, but as many as everyone. When I went in the queue, it was like 800,000 people.
For the third day, I felt like I was fine. I went earlier and I was like able to add tickets.
Okay, I got to look tonight.
For the third day, but I think that's gone now. Yeah. I think we mentioned it earlier, InvestFest.
Wait, well, you haven't told us how to make money from podcasting and broadcasting. I'm not leaving that point.
One day I'm going to do what y'all do. I'm going to wake it up one day. Don't worry, we're going to get to it.
That's my favorite move.
And then clap. Mm-hmm. That's like what you joke.
That's my go-to.
I'm going to tell y'all.
That's my tween.
We going to happen.
One day we're going to have a conversation.
Yeah. And one day we going to talk about it. Yeah. But InvestFest, man, I was shocked.
Have you went?
No, I'm not traveling. I'm basic. I'm staying in New York.
I'm not mad at you for that.
I'm staying in New York. New York City is where it's at.
You guys get the streaming option?
Yeah. I'm not watching that. I'm sorry. Not that.
You're not looking further your education?
I feel like I know a lot.
Okay.
You can tell by my content. Him 500 at InvestFest. Why was he there?
He's a friend of the show program.
Didn't he have like controversy attached to him?
Yeah.
So you guys vetted that and was like, it's okay to have him back.
Yeah, the same way we did Magic Johnson and Robert Smith and 50 Cent and myself and Kathy Wood and Mike Novogratz. I never hear these names mentioned.
But those people are not known for controversy like
Rich Paul.
Don't try to get away from him 500.
I'm not trying to get away from anything, but like I get the messiness of it. But these other names that are titans of industry have to be brought up. Like if you look at it, and I've told Rashad this personally, I'm like, I don't know how you keep doing InvestFest, and I don't know why you continue to do it. I commend him for continuing to do it. But to put together that kind of all-star lineup every year, it's a very like we talked about it before. Just even getting guests reliably to show up on time is a big enough issue, let alone getting them to go to an actual location, perform. Like Charlamagne has been there, and fucking Issa Rae, like Lauren, Black Sam, and did a whole tribute to Nipsey. Like that's really hard to pull off. So in light of whatever errors may have been made, I think those conversations have to get brought up a lot more about the quality of people that has been brought to our community. Because to be very honest, before we had Market Mondays, there was nowhere for us to go to actively learn about investing, white or black. Not just a white or Latin audience or black audience. Like you can watch CNBC for sure, and there's some great people there. Nigerian and fucking Bono and Love You Dearly, Josh Brown. But Kramer has an inverse correlation to the market these days. And I haven't seen like Kramer under delivers on CNBC. So I think the criticism.
I never said y'all under deliver on your stocks. I just talk about him like anytime there's.
But I can only speak for speak for Marcus, but whatever mistakes he's made and the commentary he's made, He's tried to clean it up, but I can only speak for me and what I've done and what I'm a part of.
You're a part of that, right? You're part of
sure,
InvestFest.
but also Magic Johnson was there and Kathy Wood. And
so like Caesar could be there too now?
Robert Caesar was not there, but like I know you're making light of, but I'm walking you through a lineup. Like even last year, Magic Johnson, he gave a hell of a talk and performance and a tough act to follow. I went on after him, killed it. I think there's too much conversation of drama and beef in our community when there. You don't think so?
I think you guys talk about drama and beef with business people.
Such as?
Facebook, Spotify.
Altman.
Yeah, you got to talk about that too. So,
but it's correlated to the performance of the stock. Like if I talk about, like, let's say, Microsoft investment into OpenAI and how Sam Altman isn't favored in Silicon Valley for whatever transgressions he's made, that's because it's having a direct effect on Microsoft performance this year, down 33% there in a pure correction. I'm not talking about their personal lives and who they were fucking in Nobu in San Francisco, you know.
Okay. Is InvestFest an entertainment event or a financial event?
It's a financial event with an entertainment component. The interesting part about that, we've been to Robin Hood conference last year, and we went to NVIDIA's GTC conference last year, right? NVIDIA probably had more entertainment than we ever did at InvestFest, but it's always more criticism about, well, T.I. performed or Jeezy performed. If you ever been to a business conference, anyone in any field, there's always some entertainment there, for sure.
Okay.
So,
yeah, this clash made me a lot of good money. The financial beef war of 2025.
There's no beef war, bro. I feel you.
The financial beef.
How much you make off that?
I don't like to disclose numbers.
You're a smart man. I ain't mad at you.
I ain't mad at you. Right.
Listen, I was mad at you for doing it, and Joe too when he did it.
Why were y'all mad at us?
But I will say, when I did my calculation for what I thought the AdSense could be, I'm like, I'm not mad at you. I can't be mad at you.
Why is it y'all ended up beefing? Like, what was?
There was no beef. It was
whatever y'all
disagreement. There was a clash of personality and maybe egos at a time. But the interesting part, because this gets blocked, I know you hear this all the time too, like, well, other races don't do this. And I'm like, well, Bill Ackman had a fucking fight on CNBC about the value of Herbalife and if it was a quality company. Like, it happens in every genre of business, but a lot of times with men, when you combine money, ego, Q-score, fame, there's going to be a clash, especially if things have not been seen eye to eye. Because normally the person who is attacked tries to attack even harder, and it creates a cycle. So that's why I asked, even with you and Savon, like, I remember when you were shooting, then you would say something back. So it becomes a never-ending cycle. That's why a lot of times in a lot of that drama, I just try and be quiet about it.
He wasn't quiet, though. There's a time you gotta talk about it. I think you said, pay me back my loan. You said...
But even with the instance, because I talked to Trap, when Trap called me maybe 3 weeks ago, he knew I wasn't talking about him.
Okay.
And whether he says that publicly or not, it don't matter to me. Because my character is to not... If I know, everyone on that show knows who I was saying pay my money back to. It wasn't him.
Okay.
And there's no money in the drama. That's the other part. Like, maybe on the AdSense side, it may be good. But for us, we were just talking about this on a pod. Like, in order to elevate to certain spaces, I will say in 2020, us not getting along, it cost us a deal on daytime TV.
What type of deal? Like,
there's no money. A TV deal. TV deal. There's no money in drama. And that's why I always say anybody who's engaging in long form drama is usually because the business is not right, or they're personally not happy with themselves. So,
guess I gotta go to therapy. All right.
Have you been to therapy?
I think all of us is like so niche. So The Sopranos, I was like, I need a therapist. Yeah.
For what reason?
A lot of, you think I'm like the narcissist that use therapy?
No, I'm just asking.
I think it's good to have somebody to talk to. I think it's good. It's not a bad thing. Are you in therapy or anything?
It's a very good thing. Yeah, I've been pro therapy for a long time.
Yeah.
I'm pro coaching, pro therapy, pro consulting.
Pro all that consulting. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Oh, I think it did. It was. I don't think it benefits y'all much to beef. I don't think.
It's a net negative.
Yeah. Like Aristotle going back and forth with y'all, I felt like it was much. It wasn't really much there, and I think the reason is like Earn Your Leisure. You guys, the pioneers of this space, usually take the position that y'all were the first in the field. Do you think that's the case?
That's I'll let the people decide that. I really don't give a fuck about that, to be honest. Because you can make the argument, if we're going to talk purely investing in stocks, Bonawyn was the first person who was on CNBC. That was in 2009. That's why I have reverence for him. So I think when history is written, I don't think it can be denied the impact that I've had in the stock market and how many people began investing because of me. And then how many people have learned business strategies from their show. I think that's undeniable. But
I said this on my channel. I feel like you guys should have done like an investment challenge. I think that would have been dope. Like $10,000, see who earns the most.
Yeah, it would be a great idea. But then if you don't like me, I don't want to do anything in collaboration at that point. It's like, for what?
So Aristotle and Wall Street Trapper don't like you? I thought that would have been cool.
It would have been cool. And I'm not saying that they don't like me, but if the consideration is, if a person doesn't like me 1%, there's no reason to collab. Like I said, I don't have an issue with either one. Trap just called me 3 weeks ago. We talked. But I'm not into the messy drama. Like a lot of times people do that stuff for certain reasons, and I'm not, given where we are from. And the other part is like the blessings that we've been afforded, especially for me through the market and what my family has sacrificed. I didn't learn all this shit and get this aptitude for investing to then have public discourse and drama with people. It's like, for what?
Especially if you get money, I doubt there's drama to be had, right?
It shouldn't be, but that goes back to the male fragility, the ego, wanting to be seen in a certain light, to be respected. Because at the end of the day, there's an admiration that is equal across the board. And oftentimes, like if a person feels rejected, they may not know how to handle that.
Yeah, I assume at some point there'll be some new player in the field that just starts taking shots at all of y'all, but
and bless them too,
like the new cartel.
But even with that, it's like, what's the point of taking shots if you can put your money into the market?
Clicks, retention, views, those types of things.
It's not worth that much money.
Yeah.
Like, okay, the highest viewed video that if it's against me would be what?
100,000 maybe?
That's not a lot of money. You'll make more money just purely talking about the market than you would taking shots at me about the market. Hell, you should even just you should DM me, hey, Ian, give me 4 stocks and be like, look what Ian dumbass did. He gave me 4 stocks to invest in. I'm going to take you through a journey and see how it works. And if it works, now you have that money and the AdSense money. There's very little money in drama.
That's a good idea. Nope.
So one of y'all DM me.
Yeah, one of y'all DM me. Trying to get fans. This is one of the critiques I've seen of you particularly, is how come you don't share your portfolio? People always say that. Like, why? That's
a great question. It's a danger to me and my family.
Why? You would make it just would be bad for people to know that you're that profitable, or just like?
Yeah, and I've done it before, 26, but I've literally had family members kidnapped before.
Damn.
So I don't want to put my family or my son or me at risk. That's the other part of being somewhat successful that you have to put on the table. Like the baby just talked about it on the Patreon. There's even a certain way you have to move, and there's certain circles of trust. But just to be clear, like I was financially free when I came on the show. That's why I was able to, like, in everything that I do, have partnership. I was already set when they first saw me with them in 2020. From that day, I never had to work another day in my life. So you can go to the Rolling Out article 2016. I gave you all the stocks to invest in. You can just look from, let's just say, even if you think, let's say, NVIDIA and AMD from then, those stocks are up 2,000% in combination. You can start to, but even that, from an ego standpoint, when I hear those criticisms, I want to. From a safety standpoint, it's hard to argue how to tell a cousin or aunt, I put you in danger because of my ego, from what some person said, who I know is not free. Because where I'm from, when I was growing up in East Chicago and Gary, there was killing over $1,000. Like to this day, $2,000, somebody shoot the whole fucking block up in Gary. It's not worth it. It's not worth my ego though. Even like when I seen Joe's article go out and get this, I was like, if that got the people going, I call somebody at Yahoo Finance. It's like, no, it's not worth it. Okay. It's not worth it. But maybe when the book comes, I'll do it.
The book, all right.
Yeah, 2027.
I gotta ask this. I remember finding. Are you still banned from the Breakfast Club?
I've never been banned from the. Shout to Envy. I've never been banned from the Breakfast Club.
I swear they said. I swear you told me like you couldn't go up there for a little bit. It was hot.
Why? If I'm friends with Charlamagne.
I remember you talking about spaces. I'll bring it up, man. I'll bring it up. You said you had an issue with Envy. Something you said.
We had an issue at one point, but that doesn't mean I was banned from Breakfast Club.
Okay. So
I mean, if I said that, I misspoke.
You haven't been back though.
I got to go when the time is right.
Okay.
Yeah. But I've talked to Envy since then. We've hashed things out. I sent him an apology. He gave me an apology, and then that was that. And that was what, I don't know, maybe 3. It's 26, maybe 23. I could have. Charlamagne has asked me to come up there.
Okay.
So,
the apology was over what you said on Joe Budden's podcast, right? Because you said you went crazy. I never seen. I never said. You was like, dudes with real money don't talk that way. I was like, wow, look at Ian.
That's true. But
so be careful.
Nevertheless, I was still wrong in how I approached it with Envy. So, so that's why I called in. I called and apologized. I did the Ray J. I'm gonna call up there and apologize. So, so shout to Envy, and he took it with grace because he didn't have to.
Okay.
Yeah, it could have been fuck me forever, and he didn't take that approach. So I
heard he holds grudges, but what do you? Because you mentioned it, and we talked about Charlamagne, and you mentioned the $20 million deal. What about Charlamagne's $200 million deal?
I wanted to ask you this: why do you think that deal is fake?
I think the details of the deal. I think the number is real for like the whole Black effect, but I think the way it's being positioned as if he got $200 million, not accurate, and the way people are championing.
Okay, so people are saying like 200 went into his personal.
Yeah, I feel like that's how it's being positioned.
No, but it went to his company.
Yeah, let's say that.
I think that was stated. Like if okay, prime example. We were talking today with the founders of Prospects. It's two guys, right? They were there.
Yep.
The investors weren't there. The Series A or C round investors were not there. They're the face of the brand. So of course, if you're running the piece, they're going to be highlighted. Like he's the face of and CEO of Black Effect. So I don't know what the confusion is. Like he didn't say that I cleaned up and got $200 million in my personal pocket. He said Black Effect did a deal for $200.
The Forbes was like, Charlamagne the God signs $200 million iHeart deal.
If he owns Black Effect, is it? Oh, so you're saying that just for his own show that he got 200?
That's what it kind of felt like it was being said.
But the article went into detail about the dealings of Black Effect. Kudos to him and Dolly. So, but even that's semantics.
Okay, I'm just looking at it now. It did, yeah.
That's semantics, and is like a precedent had been set already with Bill Simmons and Gimlet Media back in the day. Like you could put a valuation on, let's say, if you take 25 shows to a network, what that's worth.
With a $200 million contract, the outspoken radio personality has ambitious plans to turn Black Effect Network into the BET of podcasting.
So
did I say Black Effect 200 million? It felt like that was positioned. Like
if there's back to my criticism of person versus source. I haven't heard one person criticize Fortune for how the headline was written.
Forbes, yeah.
Forbes.
Oh, Jesus, you're good, man. But I mean,
It's just
Charlamagne showed up to the photo shoot, and even just the article was funny. Like Charlamagne sits in a comic book store overlooking the city as he is the Gray Hulk and also the Hulk combined into one man,
That's
like the '98 Summer Jam. Like it was just, it felt, and I.
But did he write that or the writer wrote
He showed
that?
up to the photo shoot. He showed up to the photo shoot.
If that's his job to show up to the photo shoot for like so for example, like if I go to CNBC or ETF Central or The Street, it's out of my control how they framed the piece. It wasn't like Charlamagne said that they put $200 million in my pocket. Just
that same article, I feel like that same article has been written before. Like Variety, it was like anytime when the podcast networks came out, it was a similar article written. And I'm observing Joe's thoughts, Ian's thoughts, and the way they're reacting is like they don't really want to say what they think. And I don't know what they think. I think people think that I know what
you know you're on payroll.
Baby, right?
Yeah. Are you being used as a conduit for the thoughts of Ian and Joe?
No, I'm not, man. I'm not, man. I'm like Joe's, I'm trying to think of what the term is, but nah, I'm not.
Media enforcer.
Media enforcer. Yeah. I'm like Mandi. Because I feel like all the people signed the Black Effect is Charlamagne's media enforcer. You see people get upset when you ask questions. It's like they tease. They get
I don't think they get upset, but if you say a deal isn't valid, or let's say if it's structured based on incentives, it wasn't him who came out and said it. It was Forbes who came out and said it and put the piece out. Because I honestly think if that article when it came out, Charlamagne wouldn't have said shit. He wouldn't have said nothing. He would have just let the shows pop up on Netflix.
Well, fortune favors the bold. Okay. Yeah. All right. So we got to talk about, this was something that I think led to a blow up between us on Spaces. All right, Joe Budden. Mm-hmm. You was on the podcast.
Yeah.
What happened? It seemed like you were going to be on the show.
We didn't come to an agreement on terms. So.
Did you ask for equity? People, because that's what you were saying. Like you do only.
That wasn't the breaking piece though, of why. And I mean, I was just up there today before I came here.
Being a guest versus being a co-host is different.
Is it? If you have the friendship?
Yeah.
Like I'm not like what I like to do, and there's still things that we're talking about doing now. But I'm not vying for a job nowhere. Would I have liked to? For sure. But also, too, I live in Houston. Like the travel considerations, that's a bit much. I'm not paying no PJ. Not the pod. Oh, no. So that was a piece of it. And then also, too, got to give him credit. He made 2 fucking great additions after that. So it was like, he picked up Mark after that.
Mark and
Mona.
Okay.
What?
Yeah.
So if I'm looking from his perspective, I could have a motherfucker who gonna beat me over the head for equity, even though we friends, and try and push that, or I can get a talent. And also too, like to Mark's credit, like people don't, even though he won Powder of the Month 6 months in a row, however many it was, I don't think people give Mark his credit for how great he is at broadcasting. To me, he's Kobe. And it's really hard to have a conversation about the Iran and Israel conflict and have the depth of that knowledge and then go talk about some shit between Carisha and Puff. So,
but he's always been like that. He's always been talking about VH1. He's always been doing like pop. He's like Bill Simmons.
But it's really hard to, Bill Simmons, another one.
Sports
Colin Cowherd. Yeah. It's really hard to be able to do all of those. So, yeah, of course, like, did I want to do it? But I'm not vying for a job anywhere.
But you said that it wasn't equity. What was the deal breaker?
It's just me and Joe's communication style. It wasn't like we're never going to do this, but we just moved on and started talking about other things. About
communication style, Ian. What does that mean?
I do business in a very particular way.
Got it.
Yeah. So,
okay.
Yeah. But that's my guy, though.
Okay. My guy. Do you think the show has too many mics? Because that's one thing. Mark is that when you say broadcaster, that's what I think about. Mark knows how to navigate talking with 8 mics better than anybody who's ever been on the show. Because he's been on news shows where there was like a bunch of people.
Yeah.
But y'all don't have broadcast. Not that it's an insult. Who does? but y'all don't have broadcasting experience. And one thing I noticed when you were up there, it was hard for people to speak, and J1 as well.
Yeah.
I can tell they're like, when do I speak? You got Ish and Flip. They talk all the time. Mona don't talk all the time. Joe talk all the time. How did you feel? Like, it just looked like there's too many mics for new people to assimilate.
I think there's a certain way, but to me, it's the great, and I think you said something on Spaces is like Joe being a reference point for broadcasting style, which is true because he was very influential, like on how to navigate being on air. And Charlamagne was very helpful too, like on like business structure and not moving off of my principles on how I want equity in certain things. But to me, it's like if you playing ball, like it's one thing to play 5-on-5, but it's different if you're playing 5-on-10. So even though it may be a lot of mics up there, it prepares you to be able, like when Ish went to Ari Melber. Now, if you're in a situation where it's just you one-on-one, smoke show. If Mark goes on CNN or ABC tomorrow, smoke show. So while some people see it as a deterrent, I think it's an incredible training ground to be able to sit in and broadcast from, because that makes you pick your spots a hell of a lot better.
Did you feel like the mics was too much when you was up there?
Depends on what episode. Maybe the him Tebow episode, maybe not so much, but some maybe. But just because I don't want to talk about fucking
Carisha or
somebody's booty hole or messy ass shit. Like, I don't give a fuck about that, because even that kind of content, and I'm not saying it to be pompous, it does not pay well. For most people,
CPMs,
to see, like, just the audience that you attract doing that kind of content, you're at the lower rung of payouts. So I don't want to specialize or be a champion in doing certain kind of content that is not A, fulfilling, but then B, on the business side, is a detractor from my main goal and main mission. So
yeah, I know when I do videos on y'all, the CPMs are completely different. Like finance,
dramatically different, right?
Yeah.
Like 3-5x different.
3 to 4.
Yeah,
I'm talking about like double-digit dollar amount, like that.
Yeah. So when people are like, yo, I don't like how you do talk this way or broad, I'm like, okay, I'm not mad at it, but in my space, for my audience, to them, I'm Joe and Charlamagne. So it's fine. But also, to being in that playground and having to have different conversations, it's made me better there. Same with Josh Brown. I can drop Josh Brown on Colin Cowherd tomorrow, and he would do just as fine as he would on CNBC. I think it's a great training ground to be able to have those conversations and know how to navigate them.
I have to ask because I remember watching the episode of Market Mondays, and this young lady was in the background, Melyssa Ford, on your screen.
Yeah.
So she seems to be a good friend of yours. How did you feel when Melyssa Ford exited the pod?
If I'm gonna be honest, I knew it was coming.
I
knew long before it even started to show on Patreon that was probably gonna happen.
What show? What show?
What do you mean, what show?
You said it started to show.
I mean, show on camera.
Oh, okay.
Like, because especially for you reviewing, you can see the frustration in certain people as much as, like, you edit, you can see when a talent is upset or if the chemistry isn't as great. So, but I only want what's best for Mel. So, but it was time though, and hopefully as a result, she's happier.
Her presence is missed. I can't.
For sure,
yeah,
Mel's a star.
Yeah,
and sometimes it takes you not being. And Ian, Joe, Corey, Key, I'm not in JBP business, because I love y'all. But sometimes it takes your presence not being there for it to be fully appreciated. But going back to the conversation of being brothers and also how things are communicated, a lot of times it's how you communicate it, not the core issue itself. Yeah. Even with you and I, we didn't have some mix-ups. Yeah. We really don't have any issues or a real kerfuffle. It's just how things were approached. So
people usually ask you this question: what stock should you invest in? What stock should you not invest in?
You know what? I actually wrote that today for the pod. This is a great question. The ones I would stay away from, for sure, Nike. I think they've lost all, I hate this term, but cultural relevance. Executive management is not great. They let go of too many designers that were incredible. And there are so many other brands that are better. 2, Supermicro. I mean, just got revealed that the CEO was smuggling NVIDIA chips to China. That is a huge geopolitical issue.
Yeah.
AMC, GameStop. Not so much maybe MicroStrategy, but any derivative products that comes out of that MicroStrategy ecosystem that is attached to crypto. And any airline stock is fucking abominable. Like the margins are terrible.
I go to the Apple store like every day because I'm trying to see if I should buy that monitor that costs $3,800. And I was like, is Apple still something you still into? Because I remember that
For
big
sure.
thing.
Yeah, it was my baby. I think they mismanaged the AI spend, and they could have done better for how that could have integrated into Siri. But as far as a company, in terms of the margins and, like you said, just the willingness for people to pay a higher price point, manufacturing and quality is still one of a kind on the hardware side. So absolutely, I love Apple as a stock long term.
I'm always curious because I felt like when I used to listen to you, I always wondered about what your like content diet is. What do you watch? Because I know you watch Joe Budden a lot. And that's like the messy content you just kind of look like, not, you didn't look down, but you shot down like you don't want to talk about. So you watch
I enjoy it, but I just don't want to be involved in the production or creation of it. But I watch your stuff. I love the space shit. I've been in Anons.
We gotta talk about space and shit
for sure.
Because like, why
Rogan,
you not,
Schultz, Breakfast Club, Mandi, Wheezy.
You watch Mandi's pod?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Love Dr. Umar.
He's really good.
Generational talent. May not on the execution side be the best, but generational talent. And then all the manosphere shit, like all that's like I'll digest that. And then of course CNBC, Bloomberg, Yahoo Finance, Al Jazeera.
Stay informed.
Anthony Bourdain, ABC World News. So yeah.
Okay. Did you leave Spaces for a reason? Because I remember you used to be on Spaces all the time. And this happened before Rory left. Like you wasn't on Spaces. It's
a net negative. And I know people took it away when I put that, but it was no additive for me. Like the one thing I do like about Spaces is the community's willingness to create content at a very high clip. That's what I took away from it. The messiness and arguing and that part I hate, but it was a much better use of my time just to spend it on the investing content, double down there, learn how to broadcast better. I've upgraded the camera and equipment and stuff in the studio for Market Monday. So it just wasn't a great use of time. And there's too much drama there.
I kind of
And you broke my heart. Once we got into our little fight, I couldn't be there. I was sad. I'm like,
you called me broke, man.
Don't fuck with me no more. We had a thing, my boy.
Were you in the Anons for the Rory space?
Which one?
The one.
Oh, no, I wasn't. I couldn't do it.
I was on stage when that happened and I left. I was like, this is going to get ugly. Once I saw the Kendrick fans come, I was like, yo, it's going to get bad.
I heard about it like 2 days later.
I remember calling, like I texted Rory, I was like, yo, leave. There's nothing you can do here.
There's no benefit. It's limited upside to that.
Sometimes I wish I could ask, like, what was he thinking? Like, what was the idea? Because he still hasn't addressed, not the tweets, but what was he thinking to stay up there for 4 hours?
I wouldn't have done that. But he responded well on Netflix.
Well, yeah, I think.
That was a hell of a pivot. Did he? What'd he say?
A little bit. You and me's talking off mic, by the way.
Get him a mic up.
She don't want to be part of this. The mess. Yeah, he talked about it very surface level, and I think I think the tweets, yes, should be addressed, but I'm still more fascinated about the thought process of staying up there for like 4 or 5 hours.
Sometimes when there's a crisis, like most crisis managers will tell you, like if there's any drama, normally don't say anything. I think people think if you stay and fight against it, people are going to be logical and hear your perspective, and they've already made the decision.
Yeah.
How they feel about you, so it doesn't matter. You miss me being on Spaces or no?
I don't. I think. Can I be honest? No, because I don't think you said much on Spaces. I think Joe. I think all the podcasters are very measured. I think
for sure.
I think even
there's too much to lose.
I think that was the issue.
I mean, but the Rory was a prime example.
Can I be honest about Rory? I thought he was smug on Spaces. I thought he was always trying to start arguments, and I think it backfired in that.
Well, I've been on some of those stages where he was smug. It was people saying things to him first.
Yeah.
So a lot of times when that happens, or if a person says I'm arrogant, I'm like, well, you said something to me, and I'll say something back, but I get deemed as arrogant because it made you feel away.
Yeah.
Normally, when I've interacted with Rory, he's been real chill, calm. I think it's the reaction always gets remembered more than the initiator of whatever interaction happens. So
Yeah. What let me share what I've been listening to so much Ebro, Laura Rosenberg.
This show's really good, yo.
I
know some people may not think so. Shout to Ebro, but I like how they've adjusted post being at the radio.
It's like the best thing out for me. I check out everything. I would listen from start to end, and it's like they have a chemistry that is like authentic. And this is
you can tell they love each other.
Ebro's taking Rosenberg's daughter to events, and that's like a different level of connection that I feel like a lot of this is my critique of y'all on the Joe Budden podcast is y'all always calling each other brother and sister, and I'm like, I don't know if it means what y'all say.
But you know, some people actually have like real relationships and are brother and sister.
I don't see it. Like if Ebro and Rosenberg call themselves brother, I would believe it because of the way they talk about each other. But y'all,
who do you believe that you? Well, let's say with me that I've called brother isn't my brother because I don't use that word.
Flip.
Flip is my guy.
So he's your brother.
Yeah, Ish is my brother.
Ish, I can see it, but I mean, I don't know, man. I don't think y'all know each other that long. Brothers are heavy. I have brothers, and it's like I wouldn't call anybody that. I'm not gonna call the DJ, my engineer, my brother.
I'll call you my brother. Gotcha.
So I'm sorry, DJ. Hope I didn't break your heart.
You can use my Black History Month pass too. I got you. Next February, I got you.
All right, but yeah, that's just something. Shout out to Ebro. Even though the views ain't, I think.
But even that, can we talk about that? Views is not the metric that matters.
I disagree.
That's not.
I think that's like a hipster take.
Why?
Because views always matter.
No, they don't.
On TV, they matter.
The views with the right audience.
Advertisers care about views.
Like Market Mondays may get a lot less views than, let's say, a show in a different space, but Market Mondays is way more profitable.
Okay.
As a result, by audience, for sure. Because the quality of person that you attract, and this is without advertising on the show. Mm-hmm. There's a certain value in the audience that you attract, and that makes a world of difference. And most of the people who do all the messy shit, they not killing it with the fucking, they're not killing with the views. They're getting fucking 8,000 views doing all that negative shit.
You care to say who? Nah.
It's a bunch of them.
Yeah.
But I think if you are solely going off of views, you're setting yourself up to be destroyed by the algorithm. Yeah, YouTube can change the algorithm. Patreon has done a revamping and reimagining of what that looks like. A lot of Black creators have had issues on streaming platforms. You got to figure out the business model outside of being a view baby. That's the lesson I want you guys to take away. Like, if you never invest in a stock that's on you, it's a fucking mistake. But for the content creators, you got to find what the model is outside of viewership alone.
Do you watch The Breakfast Club on Netflix?
I've watched a couple episodes.
Do you feel like that was a good move going to Netflix?
It depends on. Well, I'll tell you this though. If my deal was what Charlamagne deals was, and they suppress my views on Netflix, I'm taking a deal 100 times.
You mean YouTube? If they suppress your views on YouTube or Netflix? Okay.
Combination. You can suppress both.
Okay.
For if I clear 160, you can suppress all you want. I'll bet it, my boy. I'll go make another Breakfast Club show. So, I know, and there's a lot of talk about if that was the right move, but what's the goal? To be known online forever or to eventually exit?
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting because I just saw this Carisha interview drop and it was just Charlamagne. It was all on YouTube. And I'm like, I wonder how that impacts the Netflix deal.
It doesn't because it's a separate property away from what they agreed to license.
Yeah. And it was like 1 hour on the Breakfast Club channel.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
No, I mean, like, don't get me wrong. Do I think it will have an impact on the show? For sure. But I think he's going to have a conversation with Netflix and they are going to reimagine what the algorithm looks like and how they're placed too.
Yeah, I mean, this is the end. Any final thoughts, Ian, you want to leave the audience with? Your questions for this a quiet part out loud or the stop?
Invest for the long term. Check out the DeHaven interview. Great interview, great journalistic work. even though we probably will be in recession in 2027, hold for the long period of time. What people don't tell you is if you hold for 10 years, you should average anywhere from 400% to 1,200% if you hold tech companies. And I miss being on Spaces with you, my brother.
Thank you, man. Thank you, my brother.
You have any final questions for me? And why aren't you investing?
I do invest.
You invest. What are you investing in? Oh, this is a great segue.
Let me see my stock. I'll open it.
Danny from the stock gives you his picks for the year.
Stock club.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let me see.
I know you're on Netflix.
No, I'm not in Netflix.
You on Google?
Let me see. All right, let me go to my stocks, opening them up. Been taking hits, but positions.
Yeah, well, until this Iranian conflict.
Amazon,
great company.
Nvidia,
one of my favorites of all time.
Meta,
great company.
Reddit. I know you don't like Reddit, but I
will clip Reddit.
Okay, I mean it did. Maybe I'll do that. Google.
Amazing. Hold for 20 fucking years.
I got like multiple Google shares. Tesla.
Amazing company.
Tesla? I didn't think you would say that because y'all be going in on Elon.
I mean, but that's the thing. I can be honest and make an assessment about his decision making in his personal life. But he's also stated the same thing. And then post conflict with Trump, he put a lot more effort into going back into Tesla and being at headquarters and making sure that the company is doing incredibly well. And out of all the companies he owns, I think Starlink is probably the gem out of that portfolio. But Tesla, for sure, while he runs it, is an amazing company.
AMD.
Amazing company.
And these are like, I really don't have these. I bought this is when I was like 5 years ago, and I didn't really buy that many. Kava and Sirius. It's not real. I'm not real. It's just like a jokey.
Yeah.
But so yeah. And then I got
portfolio. I would just clip Reddit, but the rest of them are great.
Reddit kind of launched me as a YouTuber, so it's like an emotional stuff.
I feel you on that.
But it's made a lot from where I bought it.
What content would you want to see from me in 26 or 27?
I think that I want to see like some type of investment competition. I think that was a good idea. I would like to see that.
I'll do me, Xander, my mom.
Me, Xander, and your
Yummy.
mom. Yeah, Yomi.
Keep this shit in the house. Only the family.
Yeah.
Prayers for Dirk.
Yeah, man. That some Shark Tank type stuff. I always think about what other people are doing and how you can repurpose it. Like I thought, like that's what I did with the Drake versus Kendrick debate. That I had on my channel. But
smart.
Yeah. Can't wait to do more of those. But
okay. I won't let you down. I'll do both of those this year.
All right, Ian. Thank you, man.
Thank you, my brother. Came into the Lions Den.
Yeah. I appreciate you.
Wake it up.